Good evening, Liberty families. My name is Mr. Nickus, and I will be your student's math teacher, either in pre-algebra or geometry. If you're in our first or second period class, then you're lucky enough to have Miss Lesson or Miss Hunter with us. If you're in my fifth, sixth, or third period geometry, it's going to be me by myself, but all of this is going to apply to all 5 of those classes. So I'm really just going to run through what our Schoology looks like, and how grades are calculated, and then how to get extra help if you don't get the grade that you want, or if you just need help before the actual graded assignment or test comes up. If you have a question specific to your student or your class, please email me, let me know, and I'd be happy to discuss whatever question you might have. So here we see our Schoology homepage, and we can see all of my courses here. I'm going to click on any one of those. They're all organized in the same way, so it doesn't really matter. They all have the class information at the top, which is really just the syllabus for the class. Then the course resources, which is going to be links that we come back to regularly. But really what we want to focus on is this red folder. So units will obviously be added to this eventually, but for right now I just have unit 1 in here, and anything we do on a given day will be linked right there. Once that day passes, these links will migrate into that orange folder like we see there. So this would be an old activity, this is another old activity. They're going to move into that just to keep this unit folder clear, and then new stuff will pop up here based on what we were doing in class that day. The flashback will always sit there because that is our weekly graded assignment. It's always going to be assigned on Friday, due the next Friday. I want to keep that present there so that you can find it easily. You should also see an event or an actual assignment on the right side there to remind you of that. All of the resources that you need for a given unit should be in this folder, either present for that day or in the past day folder at the bottom there. So we saw the flashbacks within our Schoology class. Those are part of the graded assignments grade. That's 30% of the overall grade, so it's a pretty big chunk, but the big part is coming from these assessments. On flashbacks, students are allowed to get help. They're allowed to use their notes. They have a week to do each of these. They're assigned each Friday morning, regardless of whether we have class that Friday morning. They're always going to be assigned Friday morning and due the following Friday. Students can also turn in assignments late, so if they happen to not get it in by that Friday, that's okay. If they come to Unity time, I can help them with any questions they have. They're also allowed to repeatedly turn these in. You can submit it over and over and edit your response to try to get a better grade. Assessments are a little bit more rigid, but you can still retake those. Actually, I'm going to skip to the next slide. For assessments, those are really what we're going to call quizzes and tests. They're always going to be announced. I'm never going to give a pop quiz or anything, but they're always retakeable. Regardless of your score, if you get a 90%, you want to get a higher score, you're allowed to retake it. I would encourage anybody who gets lower than a 70 to retake anything, because really, once you start digging yourself into a hole with the rolling grade book, it is very difficult to dig yourself out. The graded assignments, flashbacks really, that's what we're going to call those, they're always going to remain online. Again, they're going to be assigned on Friday, due the following Friday night. You can ask for help, and you can get them checked, either manually by me where I'll email you, or if it's a Google form, it'll tell you exactly what your score is, which questions you get wrong, and you can go back in and correct those. You cannot turn an assignment in 2 weeks late. If you do, it goes in as a missing, and it's going to stay that way. It's going to be a 50% in the gradebook, and it is not recoverable. The rolling gradebook has some caveats to it that make it kind of particular. With a traditional gradebook, we just take 4 quarter grades and average them. With a rolling gradebook, no quarter ever really signifies anything. It's just signifying time, really, but it doesn't actually change anything in the gradebook. The key thing is that you start strong and don't dig yourself into a hole. If you have a C by the end of the first quarter and you get 100 on the next test, that jumps up to a B right away. If that same thing is true at the end of the third quarter, 100% on the next test only brings your grade up 2 points. You're still at a C. So you really want to make sure that you're starting yourself off with a good foundation going into especially the back half of the year. And the way you do that really is by coming to Unity time. Once after school starts, I believe that's September 21st, come to after school and really just continue to stay on top of your assignments. Schoology will house all of our resources, so if you do happen to miss a day or miss an assignment, you should be able to find it there. If you can't, please reach out, and if you need help on assignments, even if it's just about staying up to date on homework, please come to Unity time regularly. There is a Unity time every other day. You have 45 minutes where you're allowed to go to different teachers, get a pass from me, come to Extra Help as often as you need to. I'm never ever bothered by too many questions that can't possibly be a thing. I will also be staying for at least 2 days after school. We have after school buses on Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Please take advantage of that as well. If you do have any questions, reach out to me. I'd be happy to help however I can. I'm excited to be in person this year. Hope it stays that way. If you do have any questions, please just let me know.